What is going on, reefers? Welcome to another episode here with Queen City Reefs and more. I decided, you know what, I haven't made a video in a long time, so I need to catch all up on everything that's been going on. And so therefore, I am going to be doing a quick but long video. Let's see, how will we make that make sense? So we are going to record every single little tank, and it's going to be a quick video of every single little tank. Yet it might take a little while because there's so many. But let's start with this one. So here we have the Innovative Marine Pro 280 all-in-one tank. And so all-in-one, what does that mean? For those that don't know, all-in-one means that it does not have a sump in the bottom. Instead, the rear chamber is a sump itself. It's a little dark in this area, so my apologies. But pretty much if you take a look right here, it's just a chamber where all the water will pass through in both sides, both ends, and I'll have filter media there to take out the particles from the water, as well as some skimmers and a return pump and a heater. Then you have the main area, which you'll see is actually pretty good size, pretty wide. I believe it's an 80-gallon total, but I think that includes the back area as well. I'm not 100% sure. I'll leave the link to this tank in the comments below so that you have something to reference. I have some things that I already purchased for this tank, and you'll see one of them is this actual new UV sterilizer by TMC. It's called the Aqueon Titan. If you haven't heard about this one, there's a good video on saltwateraquarium.com where they actually interviewed the gentleman from this company and what this how this UV sterilizer is different than others. So I figured why not give it a try. I actually bought the oversized version, oversized for this tank at least. It's rated up to 225 gallons, but it's only 25 watts. So I figured I am going to get this one just because I want all that wattage versus getting the one that's rated for something smaller, less wattage. I don't think it's going to make much of a difference, but we'll see. I also ended up getting the Osmolator 3. I had a credit with saltwateraquarium.com, so decided to use that credit to purchase this, or else this would have been a little bit too expensive for me. But I do believe it's a quality product, so definitely wanted to give this a try. Excuse the glare too. So those are the things that are coming when it comes to this tank here. It's going to be a while before I set it up. I'm going to go very slow. One thing I'm going to do very different with this tank itself, I'm going to connect everything the way that it should with wire management and everything before I start filling it up with water. I want to make sure that I get to that first because I have a bad habit of saying I'll come back to it and I never do. You'll probably see in the next tank. So we move on now to the concept Innovative Marine Drop Down. So this tank itself right now, it's backwards, upside down. I washed it really well and I'm drying it out. But it's a 20-gallon drop-off tank, so I couldn't afford to buy a gigantic drop-off since I already have a 310-gallon, but I figured why not this little one. All right, so there's not much to say with this one. I will also say that for this one, I will take my time. This is also an all-in-one, so meaning, you know, the chamber for filtration is in the back where that black area is right there. But there's not much more. Don't know what I'm gonna do with it. Definitely will take some ideas if you wanna leave those in the comment below. I will tell you what's happening with this one here in a minute. And you know what? Let's go ahead and go check that tank out that pretty much is going to be replaced by this one. Before we move to that, I did want to say something real quick, and that something is that right now every single tester is going. I have them going all at the same time, 6 p.m. And that is the Alcatronic up there for this tank, and then these two KH Camor Cares that are all alkalinity testers as well, one for each tank. Now, I will say that I had some issues with these, and I will talk about those in a different video where I'm going to dedicate the video just for a quick review of these units, but I've been using them for quite some time. I'm going to pause right here because I know it's probably very noisy because of these testers, and we'll come back here shortly once these are done. While we pause, I do want to take a minute to give myself a self plug here, and that's just in case no one knows that I started a website. So you can now go to www.queencityreefs.com and you will find every coral that I have. Most of my corals there will be my own corals that I've grown for so long, but then you'll also have corals that I order from wholesalers just because I know that I want to have variety. I don't want to have just the same corals all the time. I want to make sure that people have a reason to want to come back to the website. And another thing to add, if right now it's still going on until the end of June, 25% off your entire purchase from www.queencityreefs.com. Make sure you take advantage of that. The prices are already low as they are, and another 25% does not hurt. So if you are in the market for corals, if you're in the US, definitely go check out the website. I promise you, you will be happy. You can go to my Facebook business page and see the reviews that I have. You can go to eBay, search for Queen City Reefs, and you'll see the 50 reviews that I have, all of them 100%. So I guarantee that you will be getting a healthy coral that you actually are happy purchasing at a very, very great price. All right, let's go see if these testers are already finished. Actually have not, so we will get to that in a minute. For now, I wanted to show you what you caught me in the middle of, and then I said, you know what, why haven't I been recording videos like I used to show what I'm doing? And right here, you'll see that I'm actually in the middle of plumbing something. Let me show you what that is. Today is Sunday and it is my maintenance day, so you'll see that a lot of these chambers here are empty. I actually had a lot of detritus, and I'm wondering if maybe that's what's contributed to the whole high phosphates that I've been having lately, and I haven't been able to really bring them down permanently. I'm having to dose lanthanum chloride a lot, and then I put a bag, and you'll see that here, of half carbon and half some kind of GFO, but I forgot what the name of it is. Anyways, so on the other chamber right here, you'll see that there's an empty chamber where the return pump should be, and what used to be there is actually the Vectra, Ecotech Vectra L1. This pump is not powerful enough for this tank and to actually power, to return the water back into the tank, and also to power the UV sterilizer that I have. That and an excuse to actually get a new pump, which was the Reef Octopus Various 10, which is similar to the power of those Abyss and the Royal Exclusive. I don't know about longevity, and I don't know if it's going to be as good as those other ones when it comes to, you know, how reliable they are, especially the Abyss. You know, everybody talks about how 10-year warranty, so on and so forth. So only time will tell, and I'll definitely keep y'all posted. But for now, that's what I wanted. I figured there would be enough power for both and more, actually. So if I ever maybe want to put another tank that is going to run by this same sump, I think I can do so with that pump itself. So, but that's not in the cards yet. Anyways, so that's what's going on right here. I wanted to show y'all this Various right there. It's a heavy pump for sure. And then this is the controller for the V1, for the L1, because I'm actually in the middle of cleaning it. I don't know if I want to keep it as a backup in case I ever need it, or if I want to just sell it to make a little bit of cash on the side. Not 100% sure yet. I do have a Vectra L2 that runs my mixing station, and that could be my backup in case I need to switch it out. So not sure yet. Well, definitely still debating it. All right, I hope you don't mind the noise in the background. You know, I'm gonna try to make it short and sweet here. Here you'll see the tank that I showed y'all when I set it up with the new scape and all that. I still feel like the scape is a little too low, and I know that corals, you know, will make it look bigger once they grow out, but that's only if I go SPS, not sure about LPS. That being said, you saw the tank that I showed you, Innovative Marine, and I'm thinking that this rock skip would actually be very, very good for that tank itself over there, especially because of the idea of what I'm thinking of, how I want it scaped, and I'll definitely cover that in a different video. I have two wrasses in here, the Cryptic wrasse, which is like the like a 6 line but less aggressive for sure, and then this oh my god, I forget these names. It is a very, very cool wrasse. I don't remember the name, but it has lots of different colors in it. Then you'll see the Clarky Clowns in here as well. It's still in their anemone. You'll still see the Frag tank right here. This is real time, guys, ladies and gentlemen. This is real time. I haven't had a chance to clean them because I've been dedicating my time to thoroughly cleaning the Mega Matrix over there. So here is the 40 gallon, and I showed you this in its glory. One thing I do want to say, and before I say the rest, is that this tank worked. It definitely worked. It is definitely a tank that I recommend, especially for someone starting out. It is the perfect size to be able to get a great scape, a lot of corals in here, and have the equipment that you want, whether it's a sump, or I've even seen some people run a canister filter where they drill the back so that it's not actually hanging from the top. But either way, you know, to each his own. I think it's definitely a tank that you can be budget friendly with, and you know, definitely enjoy. Now, I did want to talk, and I might bring this up in a different video, in a different episode, where I talk about my thoughts around budget reefing and can saltwater tanks be cheaper or as cheap as freshwater, or whatever the case is. I've seen a lot of conversations, and one thing that irks me is that, you know, you have these big companies who say, yes, it can be cost effective, you can buy this tank and this equipment and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, one of them came out at a total of like $1,200 for everything, for all the equipment. And I think it ended up being like a 20-gallon tank or 30-gallon tank or something like that. But how do they know that $1,200 is affordable to somebody? You know, I know that these big tanks, when you compare it to a huge tank that you can end up paying anywhere between $7,000 to $10,000 for everything, and then compare it to maybe $1,200 for a smaller one, yes, definitely it's a lot cheaper than the $10,000 tanks. But $1,200 can still be a lot for a lot of people. So I don't know how I feel about that. Definitely something I don't want to get into right now, but it's just, this is an expensive hobby. It can be, you know, a fish that costs $25 to $50. I remember the days where $25 to $50 was way too much for me, that I definitely did not want to sit here and spend on a fish, and therefore I decided to go freshwater because it was a lot, you know, friendlier to my wallet. And so I don't want to sit here and argue that you can definitely go cheaper. You definitely can go with budget equipment and all that stuff, but in the end, it's still going to be a few $100s, and that's up to you whether you know if a few $100s is something you can do. Not considering the fact that you still have to spend on salt for the water changes and, you know, RODI water, so on and so forth. I mean, it adds up. It's definitely a subscription, so something you have to definitely keep in mind. We can definitely, if you want me to talk about it, I can definitely create an episode that is just about, you know, budget reefing and my thoughts around it and which way I think you should go if you want to budget reef. But either way, this tank is coming down, ladies and gentlemen. 2 reasons, actually 3. Number 1, my fish got ick, so I decided to take all the coral out from here, put it in a frag tank, and decided to treat the fish in here with hydrogen peroxide for now, and so far so good. Number 2, I don't think we connected this overflow right. We didn't tighten it up enough, because you will see a lot of salt creep that has built up and ends up dropping at the bottom. Yes, this is what I'm talking about when it comes to my cord management. Anyways, so this I cleaned, and I was thinking that maybe it was just a one-off, but no, it came back, and that tells me that, and I will tell you that it's definitely not these. It's more the part where you connect that to this part. So I decided I'm gonna break it down, I'm gonna sell it, and at first I was gonna break it down and you know, tighten it up and so on and so forth to use it again, but then shout out to Marlene, who decided that she wanted to downgrade to a smaller tank, and she's the one who actually sold the Innovative Marine that you saw a little while ago, and I decided that it's twice the size of this, and I'm gonna make it a LPS only tank again, like where this one was headed. So the other one is pretty much replacing this one. There's no way I can take care of so many tanks. I've drawn my limits at the ones that I have now. So 4 in here plus 2 in the other fish room, that's 6. And so if I were to set up the other 2, that would make it over that 6. And therefore I have to break this one down to keep my limit to what I know that I can maintain while still having a full-time job, and a full-time job, you know, with my regular job and my kids as well. So that's the news with this one, but I definitely wanted to let you know that it is something that worked. It is something that was doable, and the corals were looking great. They were healthy, they were growing, but you know, unfortunately, or fortunately for me, I got a bigger tank, and all this is going to be moved into the other tank, but I need to escape it, of course, and it's something that I'm going to take slow. I don't know if I want to sell the sump. I am a hoarder when it comes to equipment. I have so much equipment that I could sell, but instead I'm like putting away. So I don't know whether I should keep it in case I decide to get a different tank and I already have this sump, or sell it with the tank. What I do know is that saltwater stuff or any type of aquarium equipment does not sell, not even close to what you pay for it new, and therefore it's one of the biggest reasons why I decide to keep things, because if I'm not willing to sell it for next to nothing, then, you know, then I'm not, unless I know of someone that truly needs it and truly can't afford it, and so on and so forth. All right, well, let's see. I think that's really where we are at. So the frag tank is doing okay. This one's doing okay. It needs, I need to scrape the glass in a lot of these. This one's coming down. Then the Mega Matrix is getting a new return pump. Oh, what I didn't notify too is I had a lot of Kato here, but I am not liking how much mess the Kato makes and how often I have to come in here and clean because of all that. So I decided to remove the Kato, and instead I'm going to try the Zeovit method. Yes, you heard right, the old school Zeovit method. One of my friends definitely is trying it out, and he is swearing by it so far, so I figured why not. I went ahead and pulled the trigger. I've had the reactor for quite some time. I made a trade with him for a reactor that he had, and so I just never pulled the trigger. And because having a refugium, and you can see it's a large compartment, I had a lot of Chaeto in there. Having that and then GFO, it was still not helping, and my corals are not looking great. So I know it's definitely because of nutrients, so I have to do something about it ASAP. Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for tuning in to today's episode. I apologize if it went a little bit too fast, but I definitely wanted to give you an update on everything that's been going on, including all the tanks that I have and so on and so forth. So if there's any particular tank that you would want me to talk about, let me know in the comments below, and I'll definitely make that one of the next videos. For now, my next video will be about the Innovator Marine, so we can get in depth of the size, the dimensions, what my plans are for it, so on and so forth. And definitely look forward to talking to you then. In the meantime, I'll catch you on the next one.